Welcome to Gifted and Guided. I'm your host, Naila. Around here, we're all just figuring it out. Slightly confused, walking imperfectly towards purpose, but doing it with grace. My hope is that you take something from this episode and remember, you are doing your best. But the key word is doing. Keep showing up for yourself and don't overthink it. Drop a comment, share your thoughts, because your voice matters here too. All right, let's jump in. I'm bold enough to say it's only up from here and mean it. I am so curious to know the story behind that one-liner because I can't even assume what the story is about, and it makes so much sense considering our guest. Today we have Eli ShotofADRENALIN Johnson, my fellow December baby Sagittarius gang, and an artist, an entrepreneur, a visionary, and we worked together at Hot 97. That's how we met. And almost 10 years later, here we are recording a podcast. Eli, welcome.
Can you believe it?
I know, it's crazy. Like we started off in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
And look at us now, calling ourselves entrepreneurs. Like,
well, you got to go through it to be it, right?
That's true. Can you bring us back to where you were at this point of your life and like what was going on? So yeah, set the scene for us.
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, now thank you so much for having me on Gifted and Guided. It's more of an honor to be able to level up with you and be able to talk about our journey, periodically throughout the way. So yeah. But yeah, so what did I say? I'm bold enough. Oh yeah, I'm bold enough to say it's only up from here and mean it.
Yeah. So where were you in life?
I was in 2023. I was acting as the director of technical education for an awesome tech nonprofit called Emergent Works, and I was also running another nonprofit called the Tour Alive Tour that I founded a few years prior, and I was.
And what is the Tour Alive Tour?
Yeah, the Tour Alive Tour is a nonprofit I founded in 2017 that focuses on career development and social and emotional learning for young adults, 16 to 24.
Okay.
So in that, I was creating curriculums. I was, building all these other programs, having to split my time, creating a lot of music, not really being able to activate my music the way it needed to. And I got to a crossroad where you realize, yo, you got the big boy job, but you don't feel like the man that you are ultimately supposed to be. And we did some amazing work over at EW. So it was never a knock to them. It was just more of having to come to a space where I was leaving a very comfortable situation to go full time for myself. And leaving
that's a scary leap.
That's a big leap. There's
Yeah.
no second guessing. So I took a couple months, put a plan together best I could, but there came a moment where I knew I had to make that transition.
But okay, so let's go back to you speaking about having a quote unquote big boy job, but not feeling like where you're supposed to be. What do you mean by that? Like, what emotions were you feeling?
I believe if you have a vision in mind, it's meant to be expressed. It's not supposed to just stay in your mind. And I was already working on a lot of different entrepreneurial things. My media company, this nonprofit, and I realized that I was not fully able to capitalize on these blessings I have, these skills I have, these natural gifts I have the way I needed to. And in order for me to have a peace of mind, to level up in life, to obtain the type of lifestyle, money, but also more importantly, just trust in myself that I can lead my life in the direction that I know it should be going. And it was a moment where you start to question, well, if I made all the right choices, how did I
Mm,
get here? And a lot of
mm,
times we think in corporate jobs, the big boy jobs are, you can call it your six-figure jobs. You can call it the full benefits job, the dream job,
right.
whatever that is. You might come to a point where you realize, oh, snap, th-
Yep.
this isn't really what I want. But if you're
Mm,
being honest with yourself, if you're really about the life you say you are, these are the types of decisions that you make, you feel for a little bit, but then you keep moving forward. And
mm.
being able to move forward on my own with that bank account getting smaller, but you're
Ugh,
still you.
lower and lower. And you just trying to figure out, like,
Yeah,
wait a second,
it's like, is this
the
so?
bills
Am
don't
I?
stop.
They don't stop. They still got your name on it, you
Yep.
know? So, but sometimes we forget what our names are and we be acting like we're
Mm.
somebody else. So, if the creditors can remind us who we are, we should be able to do that
True.
too. So, that was a very, very deep transition period, but I'm glad I went through it.
So you decided to take the leap after a few months?
Yes, I was there. I was actually working there for about 2.5, maybe 3 years.
Uh-huh.
And it took me maybe about 3 or 4 months to really understand that, hey, this is going to have to happen. But if this is going to happen, how do I still look out for the community that I'm a part of here and, all the creatives that I've come across in that space? How do I still, maintain an ease of relationship? So I
Mm,
did not want to just kind of say pieces, I'm out, y'all. That's bad character, and that's not who I am. So
mm.
it took a few months. I ended up talking with the team I was working with, made sure that when I left, there was no like
Yeah, nothing
turbulence.
left. Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, and I just really want to, shout them out for being able to understand that, the leadership over there as well.
That's
And they,
true.
they, they were in full support. But even with that, I was still nervous. Like, oh snap. All right. It's
Right.
game time. All that stuff you've been talking, it's time to show and
Let's
prove.
see. Right. So what did that look like once you decided, all right, time is here, taking that leap? You didn't wake up the next day and you're like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur now. Like, what
Ah,
happened?
nah. It was a sense of I was proud of myself. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was nervous, as I said, like, yeah, all that stuff is real, but like I was proud of myself because I took time to build something where I was able to now go into business for myself.
Mm.
Full time, not in the sense of like, oh, I just got all the money, oh, I know this person. No. Now it was about who knows me, how am I
Mm.
showing up, how am I really leveraging my network, my skills, and a lot of those things that I've done, I've ended up blueprinting into the career programs with the Tour Alive tour. So when you
Okay.
see something works, you got to remember who exactly you are. And I was really excited to come on to this to this platform specifically because the guided part. A lot of
Mm.
times we read magazines and books to find the guidance we need, but when we can really sit with ourselves, let our mind clear out for a little bit, and then figure out best case scenario what we want, that's how you get the vision, and then you can
Yeah.
start moving towards that. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of broke days. I saved up for a couple months, but bills happen. You know, uh,
So, how did
life
you
happens.
navigate that phase? Because I think
Yeah,
that's the part that most people jump over. They say, yeah, I had a tough time. And
yeah.
then they get to the good part where it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
but
let's talk about it.
then I got to the finish line and then all these things started happening. Like, this is the thing that I've always envisioned for myself. And wow, this is what it feels like to do that said thing, right? Because we can have a vision and dream about what it would feel like and what it would look like. But then when we get to the moment, sometimes it doesn't feel the way we imagined. So
Yeah,
then that also comes with the things that life throws at us at the same time that we didn't anticipate nor plan for. And then you start second guessing and really thinking about like, wait, was this a good idea? Or is this a part of the process? Am I on the right track? Like you just start questioning yourself, second guessing, overthinking, and that's when people quit. So, what did that look like for you?
Like getting comfortable asking for help.
Mm, yep, yep. That is that is it. Yep.
Like, um, I say that because I'm not a person that likes to ask for help. I like working on teams. I'm a great teammate, but especially when it's something that I know is a brainchild of mine, I tend to hold it close. But you cannot do that.
Mm.
If you truly believe that your vision is life-changing, world-changing, you cannot be that selfish to not allow other people in on that vision.
What a way to shift the mindset around asking for help, of it being selfish. It's
Yeah,
selfish of you to not ask for help.
yeah, how dare, like, yo, if you really want to break it down, like, if you have the ability to really capitalize on the things that you thought of, like yo, I could create a platform, I could do this, and then it could take me here. If you know that can happen and you don't do it, you're doing a disservice to not only your spirit and like
Mm,
the your imagination. I
mm,
believe in I believe in nothing more than the imagination. Because I think the imagination is a conduit to the creator. That's why we can create.
mm-hmm.
We can think
Yep.
of all the wild things. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just selfish for the people who could benefit. It's selfish for the future version of you. But also
Mm.
you're robbing yourself of a better like life, a better experience in your own skin. So
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
good point. Yeah, it's so true. And I had that experience uh last summer,
Okay.
and it was I was at a stage where I was just in this transition and trying to figure it out. Felt like nothing was working,
Yeah.
and I had no choice but to ask for help. Um, and it was hard because as someone who's the eldest and had, I've always been the one to be responsible, follow the rules, and just like kind of to what you said earlier, I did all the things right. Why am I not here where I want to be? But a part of that process of becoming is also learning that you can't do it alone, and it's learning how to let go of ego and pride, to recognize that vulnerability is a part of strength. And when you ask for help, it can feel really awkward depending on what you're asking for. It can really make you feel like you're putting yourself out there more than it feels like when you're on the stage. It if anything is kind of worse than going on a stage in front of people, because you're really like, I'm sometimes when you ask for help you feel like people might judge you. They might I don't know, you just think of all the wrong things, and then you find out that it's actually the opposite, and that people actually want to help, they want to be a part of the process. So I'm curious to know what it was for you that pushed you to ask for the help.
For me, it was my close friends and family showing me where I was screwing up because I
Mm,
was not asking for help. Not like, oh, they were the only ones who could do something. It was more of like, wow, so you have all these big goals. You're on your own now. And not that you're not capable, but why struggle so much when you could have just asked for this, or you knew that I got access to this, why not just ask me? And
right.
sometimes we think of pride as something that's more like bravado, something that's more
Mm-hmm.
egotistical. But same way I say not sharing that vision, especially when you got it in your control, like it's in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's selfish to not share it because to think that you can carry the weight of the world effectively and you and everyone else be okay is crazy.
That
So,
yeah, that's
you know, it
true.
it took a lot of semi-interventions. You
About
know,
how many?
I'll leave that to the
Five.
imagination. You know, it was enough for me to realize, like, all right, I'm tired of bumping my head. So, you know, I could
Mm,
still strike hard. And when you realize you're taking the help
right.
and you're still getting the results you thought you wanted to get, oh, I'm
Mm.
wilding. I should have been doing this.
Should have
So
been,
every
yes.
entrepreneur, no matter what level you're at, because I can say I've successfully been able to navigate through each level, like from 19 all the way up to now. It's like, oh, I didn't see that this is where I was at.
And
But
you'd
this,
say that's about how many years?
oh man, I'm 33 now, so yeah,
Okay,
about
so
the
19 to 33. We don't have
yeah,
to
like
do the math.
14
It's okay.
years. Oh no, I ain't tripping on that. Yeah, yeah. I love it. Cause yo, I used to tell myself, and I'll tell this quick story, real quick. At 19, all right, I was at Berkeley College,
Hmm.
and I went to this event called the Wonder Kings, where it was like a 30 under 30. First time I heard the word Wonder King. So I'm like, yo, I want to be 30 under 30. I got to do that. Like I got to do that.
Hmm.
Fast forward, I'm 28. I get that. But
Wow.
it
Took
turned,
about almost 10 years.
yeah, yeah. And
Wow.
like when you're working, when you're passionate about what you're doing, you're putting numbers on the board because you gotta put the numbers on the board. You know,
Hmm.
you can't say, yo, I'm an entrepreneur, this, I'm an artist, that, whatever you're saying, and not be able to show some type of accolade. So as even though that is not the point of the work you're doing, it's
Hmm.
also benchmarks. It shows that you're capable of competing at a certain level. So when
Hmm.
now you have to go through maybe the ebbs and flows or the valleys, the peaks and
Right.
valleys, you feel comfortable. And that's why I
Yeah.
can confidently say it was tough, but I knew that it took me to having to open my tribe up in order to get to where I wanted to go.
So then, with that being said, would you say that you had to learn how to speak about yourself in a way where people actually understood what you brought to the table? Because as an entrepreneur, you learn quickly that if nobody knows, they just won't know.
That's a fact.
If you don't tell them, they're not going to know, they're not going to assume. In the same way that you ask for help, it's kind of like you have no choice but to explain to people what's what. And as you're stating about like speaking about accolades, and to your point, it's not about, oh, look at me, I have all these things and I'm special. No, you're special without the things. But it is important. This is something I had to learn. It is important to highlight, and they say to your own horn, for people to sometimes process what that looks like, because you kind of end up, you can miss out on opportunities if you don't.
You are your own billboard. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you choose to go out on your own, you have to look how you expect people to treat you. You have to feel, more importantly, how you want people to treat you, and also give that energy out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so when we talk about, you know, having to be your own billboard, that could be your clothes. You know, like, all right, I look like I'm well put together, so I'm gonna attract a well put together conversation. It could be that minuscule, but that changes things. You
Yeah, it
know, so
does.
retelling your narrative after you're leaving a company, or shifting or rebranding yourself. Because in
Yeah.
that time, I've also had to understand what it means to rebrand myself as an artist. So when your
Mm-hmm.
mind is in a continuous space of adapting and evolving, you have no choice but to change. So you start
Yeah.
to talk about yourself different. You become more aware of, or I was becoming more aware of how I was talking to myself and about myself, the
Mm.
type of talk I was accepting from people and not,
Yeah.
maybe not even commanding. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's when things change. Once you start to change,
It shifts. So at that point, you asked for help and you're moving forward. You're realizing, oh, there's a shortcut here all this time. I just needed to speak up. But
yeah.
then what happened? Like what was the turning point of your career, of your business after leaving the job, taking that leap and getting the help?
The turning point was remembering what my why was for this season of my life. Um, so for me, family's been like a really important thing. Well, of course, always has been, of course, but
Yeah.
um, as you start to wisen up to different things, responsibilities change, but then you just start wanting different things out of life.
Hmm.
You look around, and you're like, okay, it's only gonna happen if I do it. And then
Mm.
whatever elephant is in the room that's preventing you or that was preventing me from really turning up the way I needed to in the years prior, I just felt like somebody told me, the best way to eat an elephant is piece by piece.
What? Why don't they say chicken or like steak?
Because like that's
I
too
get it. I
easy.
get it. But say,
It's like
what a
I feel
visual.
it's crazy. But if what's the visual of like when the elephant's in the room and like you can't do nothing because you don't want to man, this
Mm,
person's here, or nah, I'm gonna look crazy. They might think I was like, I forgot all about that. Like, you know what?
yeah.
Bet. All right, so who am I now? Who is adrenaline now?
Hmm.
Who am I when it comes to youth development? Who am I when it comes to my family? And then I remembered like, oh, okay, I have a different take on family now that my pops is not here. So when you
Mm,
encompass all these things, you get real serious about like what you're gonna accept and not accept, you know?
hmm.
Um, so
It
yeah,
sounds like you had an identity shift.
yeah, yeah. You wake up to who, you know what? You can wake up dead or wake up who exactly who you want to be.
Yeah, and you reimagined what all of those things look like to you and what they meant to you. So because of that, you move differently.
Exactly.
And even down to like how you choose to show up in the spaces, like you have to shift your mind in order to process what that looks like, um, confidently because I think a lot of people get stuck in wondering, what if? What if I change the way I dress? What if I introduce myself under this title? What if I owned exactly who I am without the fear of success, which is so interesting that some people have a fear of success. But there are just so many things that people go through within their mind that like holds them back from stepping into who they could become. And I think at some point, spiritually, you kind of have no choice because
Talk about it.
you end up going through certain things that you don't ask for, and you end up having to speak up. You end up having to remind people who you are. And it's like that said thing that you were scared of doing, you end up getting put in a situation where you're like, ugh, this is uncomfortable. I don't like it, but I have to do it. Because you got to survive. You got to get through it. You got to step into your power.
Yeah,
But when people are afraid of stepping into their power, the process takes longer and the confusion continues. They lack clarity. And I have been there. I'm speaking from experience. but
exactly.
But I'm curious to know now that you've gone through that process, you've taken that leap, and how long has it been? 2 years?
Yeah, yeah. November would make 2 years,
Okay.
uh, which is oh my gosh, time flies. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a stark reminder for me that, in these 2 years, I've learned how to be more vulnerable. I've learned
Mm,
how to not only talk about my power, but
mhm,
also be more conscious of how concentrated it can be. stepping walking into a room and being able to shift energy, it's not a small feat. That's a blessing. But that could be a
Yeah.
curse too if you're not careful with it. So
True.
um the second I the second I started to feel like, I got a hang of this was, not too long after I left, because I knew that it was going to be a tough ride. It
Mm.
also comes with, calculated risks. So
Mm-hmm.
risk is a risk. I could have fell flat and nobody responds to my emails, and I just, I'm finding another job right now. If
Mm.
that would have happened, all right, life goes on. I'm still a successful person, depending on what my definition of
Of
success is.
success looks. Yep.
Right. So, for me, in the moments, and I want to really put this in on record, like who you allow to speak life into you really
Mm.
goes a long way. Who
Yes.
you see your reflection of or in goes a long way. And for me, it was great to tap into folks like Nip, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, and understanding like, you know, when you feel compelled to talk about different things and expand to different areas of business, and you start to see that blueprint in other like-minded people. It's okay to say, oh, okay, so this is what was in my head. This is what I'm feeling compelled to. If they don't just have to stay on your poster. Like we don't have to just talk about our people we look up to or admire, in some cases even idols, as the ceiling. You can go further, especially when you
Yeah.
start making those moves,
Mm.
connecting more. Like I said earlier, I dove deeper into my network. I really
Mm-hmm.
leveraged it. So if
Mm.
I'm talking about building music programs and internships, well, who in my network can help me with different pieces of that?
And
That's
and
small
and
piece.
because that's such an important piece, can you
Yeah.
go into that a little bit deeper as far as like what that looks like with tapping into your network? I think a lot of
Hmm.
people are afraid to reach out and ask for help, but also afraid
Yeah.
to like connect with people and present something to them when, let's say, it's someone you worked with and they were a leader in the space, and now you're looking to be a peer. They're no
Hmm.
longer your manager. You're like, we're on the same level here, but
Yep.
power can get the best of people, and that might hold some people back from asking their network for support on different things. So, what did that look like for you, or how did you navigate that?
Well, first off, you know, everybody just wants to be the man. So
Mm,
like it's hard to put that pride aside. And it's also people are can be afraid of offending the man. Like whoever that person in power is now, if they think it's bad, it's a wrap for me. I can never go back. No. Like what?
mm,
More times than not, asking that person for like to take that person for like an info lunch or hopping on Zoom for 20 minutes, like 20 minutes, not an hour, to talk about something that we could have just struck down, because it
mm-hmm,
shows people that you have something going on. You value their input or participation. But
mm,
like, if you don't even give yourself the opportunity to be yourself, how can you expect to get any of the type of money you think you deserve? Because at the end of the
mm,
day, regardless of whatever philosophy we want to talk about or like, you know, dream stuff, the reality is we need to be sustainable, and we can't be sustainable on our own. And to
yeah,
this very moment, I'm learning that, I'm embracing that, I'm continuing to enroll people into my visions and actual, efforts, because it's
mm,
not just about saying this person. People got to know you too. And I think the more new entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs, in between, everybody just has to know that like leveraging the human factor of yourself will always be your greatest asset. It will be
yeah,
your greatest benefit to any of your partners.
mm. I mean, I think you said it all. So, to basically make this a full circle moment,
Mhm.
what would you say is a gift within that story specifically of taking that leap and navigating entrepreneurship? What's one gift? Because there are many, and I'll share mine, but I want you to share one.
I released an immense amount of doubt in making that choice. And it is something that has been, if not, maybe not the biggest turning point in my life, but one of those moments where I realize, oh, I'm coming into exactly who I'm supposed to be. I
Mm,
don't always know exactly where I'm going, but I know exactly what I feel. And if that's all I have, I'm going with it.
yeah.
And there was a moment in my life where I did not think certain things would change, and it changed. And, it's funny, I got a clock behind me because in that moment I realized the world was still going. Wait,
Mm,
the world is still going, and this person isn't here, or this isn't happening anymore. It
mm,
told me that as you get older, as you get wiser, you know, start to make the choices on if you're gonna be okay. And if
mm,
you want those dreams of yours to start like showing itself outside of the bedroom, then by all means, you got to get to work. And
mm.
I just got off my ass. Pardon my French, but like once that
The
happened,
first person to curse on this podcast.
good goodness, good gosh.
But yeah, go ahead.
You know, I guess I'm being authentic.
Yeah, no, 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 you're good. You're good.
But like it was a reminder that time keeps going. And if you like how you look in the mirror, you want to continue this feeling, do what you got to do to have this feeling. Do what you need to do in order to keep these people around and to find more people like them. The
Mm,
first win after that that leap was, oh snap, somebody's just donating to my org? What?
mm,
It was like, well, duh, haven't you been telling people about it? Haven't you been, making these plays? And then it's like, yeah, exactly.
mm.
You're just at the bottom floor of the next level. Doesn't mean that you ain't level up. You're just brand new to this new level. So
Right.
eventually, you start to get more comfortable. You start to remember who you are, and then it's only up from there.
It's only up from there. So, with that, I want to add to it, and I love that releasing doubt. That is a
Oh
gift.
yeah,
Uh, Support, I feel like is another gift that you have within the story from you connecting with your old employers who were trying to basically, hold on to you while they could. And you were like, I don't want to leave you guys hanging, but I would also appreciate the support as I navigate what this looks like. And they did, to then having family and friends sit you down however many times to let you know that you can ask them for help and to give you that said help, to then your network, tapping into them and having someone donate to your org, to partnering with them on other projects that I'm sure you've done that we didn't get to discuss. And it shows that throughout the journey of uncertainty, you've always had someone there to guide you and be beside you while you were trying to figure it out. And while it might have felt like you were doing it on your own, you never were. We never do, because first of all, God's always looking out for us, right? God's always like, but here on earth, we have our support angels, if you will.
what happens on Earth stays on Earth. I love that. I love what that they said that. Shout out Kid Capri because that is a real distinction. Like we still on Earth, we got protection, but we got to make our moves.
Yeah,
You
free
know?
will. Yeah, it's like we still have to do our part. You can get the vision, you can get the idea, the dream, but you still have to put the effort for it. Just
Oh
because you
yeah.
were called to do it doesn't mean it's gonna just activate on like on its own. Like you have to
Don't
plug
work
in the
like that.
lamp in order for it to turn on. So there's effort required. There's also a mindset required in addition to the people and moving parts to support that said vision. So I think ultimately support being a huge part of your journey allowed you to get to this point of almost 2 years. Oh no, wait, you said it's going to be, yeah, two in November,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah,
two
that'll be 2 years.
years of full-time entrepreneurship, which is really exciting. Congratulations on that. And it's I know it's a crazy journey, but you're doing it. And I'm sure you've made an impact along the way, and that's what matters.
Yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, your impact is all that's, felt and remembered. Um, and being able to, be able to build, to have a community that is just as invested in my growth as I am in theirs, that says something. That's not something I just shout out, on the side. It's more of like, nah, I didn't even realize how much help I had access to, because being able to do it yourself is empowering. Great, bro, but that ain't what's gonna bring the billies in. The
Mm,
big boy bags, the billions. And when you're
yeah.
thinking of dollars, especially for me, I think of it in impact. How can I make an impact with that?
Hmm.
Whether it be through music, whether it could be through my community efforts, whether it be through just entrepreneurial empowerment. I work with a lot of different small businesses, whether they be creators, actual brands that are trying to find ways of bringing uh, the new workforce into the game, for lack of a better term. But then
Hmm.
also a lot of folks who are creating different pathways of understanding through music, through
Hmm.
different business, the ways that we operate, how to make things more equitable. So when we talk about our dreams, it doesn't just have to be one thing. And most times it becomes possible for all of your dreams to come true when you and allow other people to have a say in it, in order
Yeah.
to put their 2 cents. Doesn't take
Hmm.
away from you. It's just gonna make it bigger. So
Yeah.
you gotta get over yourself, bruh. You know.
Yeah. Gotta get over yourself, literally and figuratively. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
had to do it, and I'm still doing it. It's a continuous
It's an
process. So
ongoing
yeah,
process. It is
yeah,
not, purpose is a journey. It's not
yeah.
a one moment. And I think a lot of people get caught up in, I need to find my
Oh,
purpose. And it's like, yes. And recognize that you are going to be fulfilling the purpose throughout your life. And it's going to show up in different lanes, whether it be through fatherhood, be through career, be through community efforts, maybe just cooking someone a meal and you spark an interest in them and they want to become a chef. I don't know. It looks different for everyone in every season of your life. And I think that's why it's so important to understand your why. And once you
mhm.
discovered that, it was game over. That's really what it was.
Yeah, it changed everything, and it just made me more aware of what's to come.
Mm,
So I'm
yeah.
grateful. I gotta say, I'm grateful just to have what's the word, the presence,
Mm,
because that awareness breeds presence. I couldn't even articulate that I was being selfish, without being more present about what I'm doing.
mm. Being present about what you're doing. So your one-liner, I'm bold enough to say it's only up from here and mean it. Okay, I get it now.
You know what I mean?
It's
Yes,
only
ma'am.
up from here. And I
Yeah,
mean it because I know who I am now. I know
yeah.
what I'm working towards. I've made choices. I've taken leaps.
hmm
I've asked for help. So I
And
mean it.
you you mean it, because then you start to see your world is changing. Look,
Mm,
I've been able to connect with some awesome opportunities, connect with some ill people. That's just more indicative of, oh snap, I helped build this or I built that, and I'm a part of this, and you start to realize you start to become more of the world you want to be a part of. And
Mm,
for me, music, entertainment, and just empowerment, youth empowerment, really goes a long way for me. So I don't
mm,
believe they have to be separated. Hence why I mentioned guys like Nip, because you have the ability to put all of these things together to show people that you're more than a rapper, you're more than an entrepreneur, you're more than a father. You're a full, well-rounded human being. And if that's what
mhm,
my purpose is, then goddamn, I'm gonna show out
mm,
for real.
mhm, mhm. Good for you. Good for you. I'm happy for you and proud of you for how far you've come, how far we've come since Hot
Oh
97.
yeah, come on, are you kidding me?
And and the mindset shifts that we've had since. Definitely not the same people that we were then. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
you shouldn't be.
Um, right. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. But I'm just saying sometimes it takes a little longer for others, and as we've discussed. So I think to be able to do the work and get to this point, we should just be proud of ourselves. So shout out to us, virtual high five. You got it. Yeah, okay, got it. So to close out, we like to continue to give out the gifts, and we have the segment called The Gift That Keeps on Giving. And it's just a question for reflection for our listeners so that they can essentially put themselves in your shoes, or at least like start thinking about what that said thing could look like for them. And I know for you it's taking the leap, but what is your question of reflection that you want to give to our audience?
Question of reflection for the audience is, did I live the type of day that's gonna make me sleep awesome tonight?
Hmm. Did I live the type of day that's going to make me sleep awesome today? Hmm.
Big
Okay.
tweak that. Did I make the choices that are gonna make me sleep?
Then make the choices that are going to make me sleep well. You know,
It could be whatever you think is what.
some
Hey, some
people
people sleep
might
well with
end up,
different things.
that's true, and they might end up staying up thinking about the things that they didn't do.
Exactly. So
If it
if
keeps you up at night,
you gotta make some changes, bruh.
yep,
Come on, mix it up.
you
Mix it
gotta
up.
make
Change it
some.
up.
All right, that's a good one. Well,
I like to sleep good because I don't sleep often. So when I
oh,
do, I want
that's a
out.
different conversation. You don't sleep often. That's a different conversation,
it's
Eli.
it's more than it used to. So it's a lot healthier, but you know,
Okay, okay, we're
it's
gonna work
it's,
on
it's
that.
it ain't on eight and a half. I'll tell you that.
Okay, at least
Soon.
7, 6.
Yeah, like six and a half.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
all
I'll
right.
be figuring it out.
All right, you do that because that's important.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, I believe you. Especially for folks,
Who are
for a
working
lot
for
of the
themselves.
exactly
Yeah.
a lot of these listeners, viewers, like they're gonna understand there's nights, and you understand there's nights where you gotta, yeah, I'm gonna be up. Tonight's an all-nighter, or these are my all-nighters. But like that can't be like your thing. If that's the
No.
thing, you're gonna have a bigger thing, to worry about later. But I'm just grateful for choices, and that's why I say, yo, whatever choices you're making throughout the day, stand in it. Stand
Mm-hmm.
in it. If you can't stand in it and then lay in it, don't make it. Like
Mm-hmm.
business, personal, otherwise.
Yeah.
That's if that could be the biggest thing I give to y'all. If y'all never see me again, it's that, because
Mm.
that's how you live a happy life.
That's how you live a happy life. Well, you make sure you get some sleep tonight. And
No doubt.
thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you coming on and can't wait to see what you do next. How can people follow you or learn more about your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys want to follow me directly, you can catch me at Shot of Adrenaline. That's ShotofADRENALIN. That's on all platforms, social platforms and music platforms. For the Tour Live tour, we do, as I mentioned, career development and SEL based um, programming. So we have internships. We're launching a songwriters clinic, a music business education program, as well as a few finance. So if you're interested in that and learning more, you can check out the touralivetour.org, TOOALIVETOUR.org. So yeah,
Yes.
and for everything else, please hit me. Take
Yes.
Action Media, we here.
Yay! Well, Eli, we will be sure to follow you on your journey. And until next time, this is Gifted and Guided.
Much love. Thank you.
That's it for today's episode of Gifted and Guided. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe, share with a friend, and drop a comment because I love hearing how you're figuring it out too. Until next time, remember you are gifted, you are guided, and you're not doing this alone. All right, talk to you soon.